Welcome to episode 8, podcast number 8 of Play Some D with your host, me, Coach D. It's an exciting episode 8 where, I'm kind of ready to do this one. I actually had a lot of different things that I felt like I could speak about. I've always said I want to try to end the month with movies of the month or music of the month, but it didn't make the cut this March. So hopefully for April, I'll get back to one of those two to end the month, because I do listen to a lot of music and watch a lot of movies. So I would like to talk about those. But back up a little bit. Once again, it's Play Some D. Please like the video. Please subscribe. Turn on your post notifications so you know when this video, when the potty, I shouldn't say potty. This shouldn't say potty. But when the episode drops, that those notifications come straight to you. But yeah, please subscribe and like. I totally, really appreciate it. So a lot of different things went on this week, and I could have talked about probably a number of different things, and then there's always like my random thing that I want to talk about. And this week is car prices. It's just been a thing that I've been thinking about, talking to people about, and it's an interesting just concept of what's going on with car prices. That's kind of like the random thing that's not really directly linked to this week, but I want to talk about the Lil Nas X video, which created all types of buzz, which is pretty crazy, so surprising. So I'll briefly touch on that. The TV series, I'm not doing movies of the month or music of the month, but I am going to talk about a TV show that I can't speak for every TV show because there's so many of them, but this, I'm sure, falls into a lot of people's category of TV show of the month or TV show of the season, whatever you want to call it. But I'm talking about Snowfall and just the many different things to kind of pack with Snowfall. I mean, I probably won't get into all of them, so it'll kind of just be how I process it in the segment, and then I'm talking about movie theaters. It's a big week for movie theaters. A lot of them have been open, but a lot of the more areas that need and want, or a lot of the areas where movie theaters, where a story will be told for what happens in the future for movie theaters, they're starting to open up. So they're going to see some things, and with the Warner deal and HBO Max putting their stuff straight to streaming and movie theaters. I just want to talk a little bit about movie theaters and what I think in that aspect. And there's a small possibility it might be some OT this week. It might, like I said, I got a lot to talk about. So OT is a very, very wink strong possibility. But so yeah, I wanna get this baby rolling with the first topic. We get it up on the board here, and it's Lil Nas X. His video for Montero. That's his name. So I think it has some, off the bat, it does have some Greek stuff going on. It's some Bible stuff going on, religious theory. So he kind of touches on a little on some different things, but I thought the main thing that caught it to me was the Disney Pixar. Is that the right way to put it? But that feeling, so that animated, it looked really, really good, like one of those movies when they come on and they kind of catch you. So I thought that was kind of funny, and I think that was just a bit of trolling. I mean, he wanted controversy here. He asked for it, and just out the door. As far as the song goes, I think this was all about the video. I wouldn't be surprised I didn't. So how I got here is from social media. It blew up social media. So that's the first thing I want to say. That I got here because of social media. Probably would have never watched the video if it wasn't social media, to be quite honest with you. I just don't pay attention to videos that much, but I don't get to them until I get to them. So this could have been something I wouldn't have seen for months from now. And I'm like, oh my, oh wow, he made had a new song, made a new video, so forth and so on. But I said, I felt like I would be interested to know how he made the song. I think he made the song around the video. So I think the video was made, he wanted to troll a little bit, I think, and kind of keep people talking about him. I think he's decent as far as the artist goes. Old Town Road was good. And I don't even think that's how, it was about the video. I don't think it's about the song. So I don't even think this could play on the radio. And it doesn't think it has a pop feel outside of Call Me By Your Name, which I think is kind of a play on You Are, like Eminem had a song, I Am Whatever You Say I Am. I think that's kind of what he's kind of going with that, because Call Me By Your Name, I wouldn't see the, but anyway, it could be something with his name, and I don't know, maybe I'm totally left field with that, but I did think, I guess the Garden of Eden was the beginning with the snake and some other things like that. And then with his sexuality being the way it is, he's banished in a Roman Empire with all the people cheering to watch him, get killed. And then he's so bad, people think him being who he him being who he is so bad that he goes down to hell to take over the devil's spot. He's worse than the devil. And then there's a lot of different memes and things, and I think TikToks with him kind of showing, the devil doesn't have nothing on Lil Nas X. I mean, I think, as I mentioned in one of the previous episodes, is that the cancel culture, people have to be able to express themselves in a way, shape, or form. If you don't like it, don't watch it. And more so, the discussions about it. Like how much do you really want to invest your time in talking about his video, his music? He's expressing himself. He's talking. He's comfortable with his sexuality, and he's having a good time. And the young man's having a good time. I don't see anything wrong with that. And music is, I'm sure somebody loves this song. I'm sure this empowers somebody. I'm sure this helps somebody. I don't see it in any way, shape, or form it hurts anybody. So if it offends you or you don't like it, maybe he issues an apology. I'm not sure, but I doubt he does that. But yeah, you just don't watch it, or maybe you're not a fan of him. But that's no reason to say he's canceled or he's crossed the line or anything like that. I mean, he didn't disrespect anybody. He didn't. I think it's all fair here for sure. And it's a nice, wholesome way to express itself. I think it's a wholesome, fair way to express himself. He didn't go overboard, and I think the main thing is to be yourself, because for a lot of young men and people that probably look up to him or want to see him move the LGBT community forward, I think this is a step. This is a step in the right direction. I say the way it looks, the sound of it, I just hate it. it's just so well done. I just think I thought it looked so well, and I think that's the biggest thing in it is that I only watched it once. I'll watch it again, but it was so appeasing on the eyes. I mean, I love those Disney movies. That's like the first, even when it comes up, I think it kind of looks like Shrek, and that's actually funny. I was just watching Shrek last night, and the beginning comes up with kind of that Disney theme at the beginning. That all caught me, and then I'm a big Roman Empire type of guy, so him throwing that in there, the Greek stuff with the gods and kings and getting because that's what they did off with his head. That's what they did back then for banished, or maybe he was just banished. I don't know if he was actually. It was hard to really tell, and it looked like it was a scripture on the tree was on. I'll probably run back through and see. Once again, I'm not totally invested in the message in that nature. I kind of just wanted to speak on the fact that I know it caused some uproar, and I think people felt some way about it, or maybe they could have been trolling him back, or maybe it's just all in the fun of entertainment. End of the day, though, like I said, I think it's very well done. Shout out to him for doing it, and I'll be interested. I really be interested to see. I said originally, was it the song? Was it the video? Which one did he want it to actually happen? So I'll be interested to see if this plays on the radio, and if it does, how well it fares on the radio. That'll be very interesting. But yeah, shout out to Lil Nas X for doing this thing on here. Like I said, I think he's a good artist, and I think he's taking chances with his music, and doesn't sound like he's gonna stop. And it looks like he got a fan base behind him. So that is first quarter. That's to start that off there. Actually, I probably jumped in that so fast I didn't even say first quarter, but I'm definitely gonna say second quarter. And second quarter was one of my favorite. Let me get it up here. It's one of my favorite television shows right now, and that's Snowfall. Shout out to the late John Singleton who got this baby rolling. I'll try to stay out of the spoiler. It's not about. It could be some spoilers, so just warning. It could be some spoilers. I'm trying not to say any spoilers, but it could be spoilers, possibly. It's his account of what he thinks the government did to bring drugs into the United States, into the communities. So that's the gist of it. But the reason I kind of want to talk about it too, because it got renewed for a fifth season. I actually thought, I thought this season would be the season that they kind of wind it down. I mean, obviously, with anything as far as the business goes, you can tell a story, you can make some money, you can stretch this thing out. So I understand why they want to go to 5 seasons or 6 seasons, and they can even start to take it further and kind of evolve it past just, they could do a bunch of different things. But I did think season 4 would be where they I was thinking maybe they shut it down or do something in terms of saying, okay, this is probably the end. But like I said, a couple days ago, week ago or so, we're talking about a 5th season. So the big thing with Snowfall is that it touches on a lot of different things this season. A kid was caught in the backfire, and for people in those communities, they have large ramifications. It's not just for the police or the community. Obviously, it's for those families, and kind of getting that. In this instance, it was a part of one of the characters, and it was able to delve in on psychological ramifications of something like that happening on, a mother, father, of that nature. And then the person, you're in this hardcore world, but there's certain things that you just, it's off limits, especially back where, this took place in the 80s. Now I can't even say what goes and what doesn't. It seems like it's just a wild free for all nowadays, but back then, from multiple accounts, it was a code to different things. So Snowfall falls in that, and then there was, there's in the season before, going to jail, making decisions, deciding, how to live as a black man. It was a lot of different things as far as I'm sure all races enjoy it, but for the black community, a lot of it hits home. And I did just want to touch on that and say that they do a good job. I was very, very concerned that with John Singleton gone that they would start to lose some of it. They haven't so far. The actors seem like they're cranking it up a bit for him in his legacy. The women of the show get their due, get their shine, and particularly in this season, I really wanted to give big time flowers to the actor that plays Scully. His name is DeAndre Bonds. He's incredible in the show. He gives it a little bit of everything that you want. It's not he's not a main character, but he touches on all those different angles of what that environment is kind of like, and what you would expect from an individual that's, I wouldn't say on the fence with it all, but has to be involved, probably wants to be involved but doesn't want to be involved. Just, I feel like he splits everything, like you could see it going both ways with him, but he's in it and he's a part of it, so he does it hardcore. There's a scene where he's getting the tattoo and he has to run out at middle of the tattoo. He puts a shirt on and he's running around. It's like that can't feel good, but the character, I'm sure in real life somebody would be like, man, it's irritating, but the character is so him that it's like he's so locked in, he's so a part of the world that I don't know if it was purposely wrote and filmed this way, but he doesn't even think about that tattoo. Like, he's got a goal, he's got a mission, he's on it, and he just, I won't say he saves the season in any way, shape, or form, because I think it would have been good. However, because I think the angle they were going down with the main characters was going to work regardless. But he gives it like the icing on the cake. Makes it really, really good and ready to watch, and kind of one of those characters where when he's on the camera, you want to watch. You enjoy watching it. I don't think anybody wouldn't feel that way. So yeah, I wanted to just give him DeAndre, hope I said that right, DeAndre Bonds some love. DeAndre Bonds some love. The lady characters right now that's carrying the show, the main character's mom, the main character's right hand woman, some unfortunate events that brought some other ladies in the story, and then the current love interest of the main character as well. They all just do such a good job. They are so classy, pretty ladies, and a lot of times when you watch shows, you want it to feel authentic. I think they all feel authentic. I think they all feel like they belong in the show. They all feel like they represent the time, the era, and what's going on, which is also key. And then in this season, you bring in, I feel like all shows kind of bring in that journalist at some point where you kind of have to. Somebody, documents it. and just kind of reading up, it looks like that character maybe based off of a loosely based off someone in real life in terms of this time frame epidemic, and writing a story up about what may or may not happen. I don't think there's any I don't know if there's total proof anywhere, but you watch the show and you think you analyze it logically to yourself. You could be like, kind of like, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. So, bringing that journalist brought in another angle, kind of another way to put us on the edge of our seat. So that was cool. And yeah, just as a man of color and watching this show, sometimes it's a little heart-wrenching to watch and realizing like, yeah, that's what happens and goes on in the community. And unfortunately, if it was sold that way, or if that's how the community was, the havoc was wreaked on it by intentionally and things of that nature, you kind of almost feel like it was inevitable one way or the other. They were going to figure out a way to do that. So it happened that way. And like I said, just it's hard to kind of say in total words, like clearly, because it's all over the country in those different neighborhoods, and it happens in a different way, but the end result pretty much turns out the same, especially when, as the war on drugs eventually evolved and things of that nature. So Snowfall just does a good job of just telling the story of those people, and based on that vision of John Singleton, who was just an amazing wow, man, I don't know. Let me give him all his credits. Film director, screenwriter, producer, and actor. Just give him all his credits. So he just, great producer, great director, and he had vision. And his visions come out pretty clearly. They make sense, and they kind of give you something on the inside. And I think that's kind of what you want when you watch TV shows. You don't want it to be pointless. Sometimes you want entertainment, but sometimes you're going to be able to find something that kind of has some meaning behind it. And I think Snowfall does. And I think it does a good job with it. Give Snowfall a watch, FX. So, no halftime, as always. But for the third quarter, something that's just been annoying me, I guess you can say, is car prices. And particularly the average car price. So in 1930, the average cost of a new car was $600. The 40s, $1,850. 1950, $1,510. 1960, $2,600. 1970, $3,400. 1980, $7,200. 1990, $16,000. So in 10 years, that's $10,000. And then from 1990 to 2008, that's 2008 was $27,000, and then 2013 was $31,000, and then now, as of January 2021, the average car is basically $41,000. So 13 to 21 is a $10,000 jump. And I just feel like something is just not right here with the car market, the new car market, shall I say. And I think the reason I wanted to throw this segment in here today, because the new Hummer comes out, and I think you start reserving it 4/3/21, so backwards is 1 2 3 4. It was cool. GM did that, and the price for this Hummer, I'm a huge Hummer fan, and starting price of $112,595. And there's requirements by, well, let me not get that date wrong, but there's requirements to have EV cars on the road sooner than later. Put it like that. I think the original Hummer was, I wish I'd had this ready, but let's see. The original Hummer price, I want to say it was probably, I don't know. It wasn't 112. I don't think it was over 80. Even if it was 75, this is just a huge jump. I suppose it's 9, I suppose 90 would be okay. It's a luxury, I guess, GM is kind of considering a luxury vehicle, but that's just excessive. Give people the opportunity to purchase that car and not have to go into $100,000. Because I also read another piece that I guess the average person that buys a car is essentially rich, like whatever. But I don't know how true that was. But I mean, in January 2020, it was 38,000, and then by December 2020, it was 41,000. So by the end of the year of the pandemic, the cars cost the most. Average car prices cost the most they ever done. And if it wasn't for Mitsubishi at 22,000 being their average cost for a vehicle, if you took them out of here, then that number looks, I mean, we're like 40, probably 43-ish. It looks like, average Mitsubishi vehicle is $22,000, $23,000 essentially. Everybody else starts, the minimum for Nissan and Honda are 30, and Nissan, Honda, and Mazda. Oh, and the Kia. Kia has a $30,000 vehicle. But those are the only ones. Well, sorry, not $30,000 vehicle, $30,000 vehicle average. Like I said, Mitsubishi's average flew out of there, then that goes up like crazy. And then you can even break it down like segments, because everybody's, as far as affordability, they're just starting to give you subcompact cars and compact cars. And those cars, in my opinion, should, I guess in some other country, like the United States, I feel like a lot of people aren't going to do it. They have to buy a subcompact or compact car. So 18 and 22,000 average price cars. People want a vehicle with some size on it. Some people want an SUV. Some people would like electric car, but they average at 53,000. This says, high performance car over 100,000. High end luxury car over 100. Luxury cars at 70. I just feel like the market has gotten out of control, and I don't even know if it's no return, because I think they'll stay up, because I think the people that can afford it are going to get the new cars, and then either the gas cars are going to get like junked or trashed or whatever, the used ones, and you're going to be kind of forced to buy new electric cars if that is really what happens. But used cars are still reasonable. The working used cars are still reasonable for some people, and it seems like they just make so much more sense, especially if you get one that's good. You don't get one that's obviously you don't want to get if you get a good one, if you knew a neighbor or a friend that had their car, took care of it, and you get that one. You're golden. Because cars still depreciate like crazy. I don't have that number, but that hasn't changed, and I don't think it really will. Cars are something we need, we have to use, and as soon as you take them off the lot, they're overpriced, but you have to drive a car. I do hope something happens to it. I do hope people kind of take a stand on some of the vehicles. I would love to be able to be in the market to get I've been a Hummer fan since I started driving. I used to have a poster of one. I used to have a poster of one up on my wall. So what I would do to get a Hummer. I mean, man. But even if I had 100, I just feel like the car's not worth it. I just, and I guess if I waited, it might be a luxury. I mean, it might be a collectible vehicle. The first electric Hummer might be a thing, and it may go up in value, kind of like the Corvette did when the new model Corvette did when it came. I mean, some cars are exception to the rules, so maybe it does become worth something, or maybe the car market turns into that where they don't depreciate, they appreciate because they're electric vehicles and they're the first of their kind. That may happen. So that may keep up in the price even more, which would really, really suck. I do like the competition in terms of EVs in the market. I do like that people want EVs, and the car makers are making them. I guess it was a leaked image of Volkswagen changing their name to Volkswagen. I don't know if that actually really is going to happen. I guess they leaked the picture, deleted it. People caught screenshots of it because they're going to try to light up the EV market, and then Ford, and so forth and so on. That's cool. Good competition. Maybe that drives some lower prices. People get some affordable, nice looking electric vehicles. But right now, I just think this is out of hand, and I thought the pandemic would help it a little bit. I feel like some of the lease prices went down for vehicles getting into, obviously, base models. They're gonna wax you for souped up ones regardless. You putting a down payment in, we're going upside your head for this payment. But I think the base models of some of the cars, they took the lease prices down, which helps get off their lot and help people that need cars. But I thought COVID would tank the prices. I mean, not tank them. Shouldn't say tank, but I just didn't think 41,000. I would have thought it would have fell under the January 38,000, 36, 37,000 average price, but no, it went up, and it looks like it's just poised to keep climbing. So that's the car market. That's just my quick rant on that. I rant in a couple of different numbers that I didn't know what this number was, but I didn't expect the average car price to be 41,000. Thought it was like 30. To be honest, I thought it was like 31-ish or 32-ish. I've never looked at these numbers before, and it's just crazy. And like I said, the original numbers, it was $600 in 1930, 16,000 in 1990. We're at 41, some 30 years later. That's nuts. And then this is what we got here. We got January 07. Just say 29, January 08, about 28-ish, 09, 07, 09, about the same. We get to 30 at 2011. We get it's a little over 30. Then we get to 32 about January 2013. It's just climbing. It just keeps climbing. So 29% since 07 to 2019. On this chart. Just didn't expect to see those numbers. My rant on car prices, pretty please get lowered. For the sake of all of us human beings, we all need to drive cars, and we don't need to get gouged for them. That's my third quarter. And for the fourth quarter, it's something that I will never take for granted. And that's the movie theaters. I'm very, very interested to see. I said movie theaters and bowling alleys is things that I'm gonna definitely take advantage of again. I mean, I won't take for granted again. I'll take advantage of, because they're cool social places to go and have a good time. Movie theaters, for different reasons for me. I grew up going to the movies. Once I started driving, that's where I went. I used to go to the mall as a young kid to try to see, X-rated movies, and you couldn't get into. I used to go to the Magic Johnson Theater, try to get in there, and you couldn't get in without somebody 16 years old, and I'm 14, walking around the mall trying to find somebody to get me and my girlfriend or get me and my friends into the movies. So I have a long-standing relationship for movies, and before the pandemic, I rarely went, and I plan to go. I don't even want to see Godzilla versus King Kong, but I think I'm gonna go see Godzilla vs. King Kong just for the heck of it. But what I'm here in the fourth quarter to do is kind of just talk about what I think. I think people are gonna go back to the movies. There was the shakeup with the Warner Media, which is HBO Max, and their movies going, straight to HBO Max and the movie theaters, and that's big. And then I think Cineworld just signed a deal where they get at least 90 days exclusive. So it used to be 180 days, right? I think, or 45. It was 90 days. Now it's 45. Something like that. Something on they got half of whatever it used to be. I forgot the exact number, but they're happy about that. At least you get some exclusivity in a movie theater before it comes on screen. Wonder Woman watching at home wasn't the way to go. Judas and the Black Messiah wasn't the way to go watching that at home. I would feel like some of the Marvel movies, those I just watched to keep up with, so I don't really care. The only reason I say for Wonder Woman is because it's not Marvel, and I think DC has to compete with Marvel, so maybe I'm contradicting myself a little bit there, but Wonder Woman is what you watch. Obviously the Marvels, let me say it like that. Obviously the Marvel movies is what you want to watch in the theaters. I don't have to. I watch them to keep up. So, but you do want to watch those movies. It's a movie theater experience. The surround sound. Some people, do the, what's that, moving seats. I forgot what that's exactly called again. And then it's just those nice movie theaters now where you get, you get a blanket and a pillow and recliner chairs and a waiter and drinks and all that good stuff. So movies have turned up, and I do just think people are gonna go back to them. A lot of people, I've heard mixed things, heard people talk and ask people about it. And some people aren't really interested in going back and are cool with sitting on their couch. But I do think with knowing what the movie theaters went through, I think people will go out of support for the movie theaters. Now, if they don't feel safe in the movie theater, if some people coughing, sneezing, take off their mask and being weird and that nature, stuff like that's going on, yeah, people might not be going to the movies. But if the movies feel like a safe environment, people feel like they're going to the movie theater where they don't, maybe they do something with the ventilation, where as long as people feel safe, I think the movies crank back up. The big interesting thing is, obviously the seating arrangement, and, do you up the prices because you skipping the seat? How much people willing to pay for more prices? Do you just lower the prices and just kind of try to capitalize and just hope people start to show up? All that stuff is interesting to me. Good movies is just a big part of American culture, and how we interact with each other in a movie theater after big moments. Hearing people at scary movies, clap at the end of good movies, reactions in the middle of movies, even though we don't want people screaming and talking during the movie, but it's kind of fun, to hear people, you may react a certain way, and it's the person, down the aisle may react a different way. The person in front of you may react a different way. And even going, taking your little nephews or grandkids or son, daughters on a night out to the movies and, watching their eyes light up, or watching that new animated film, or that Marvel movie, or just a movie, kids watch regular love stories or adult movies too. Just that enjoyment. So I do think the movie theaters are going to make a bounce back. How quickly that happens, I don't know. But I know there's going to be a market for people that want to get out of the house and watch a movie. I'm one of those people. Like I said, I have no interest in seeing Kong versus Godzilla, but I just might. And I almost never go to a movie by myself, and I'm like almost down to just go by myself if I have to. So I think there's a lot of people like that, and I think just kind of on some. I can get the numbers. I'm sure I could look and get the numbers of what, who's going to the movie theaters and that nature. But actually going to those movie theaters and seeing, if it's a line, like people in the movie theater, that's all intriguing to me. So I said, I'm definitely will be going to see something at least in the next week or so. And yeah, maybe I'll do another quarter in a few months and just see how it, well, you could almost bet on that for sure. Yeah, I'll do another movie theater segment for sure. Everybody loves movies. But yeah, that's fourth quarter. Like I said, I had a lot to talk about this week, so we're going to OT for the first time. This is episode 8 of Play Some D, and we finally got some OT. And OT this week, this episode is I'm not gonna dwell. I don't really want to dwell on it, but I just wanted to highlight it here. The Georgia's governor Brian Kemp signed SB 202. It's a 98-page bill. It has changes to absentee voting. It has changes to early voting. Bringing people water is in there. Those kind of one of the highlights of it. Changes to vote counting. Changes to local election offices. Changes to the state election board. I think the biggest thing is that the chipping away the Voting Rights Act. I listened to some people talk about this today. It seems like you knew that it would just be a matter of time, but chipping away at the Voting Rights Act gets you here. And you should want people to get out and vote. And that's really my quick take on it here. I just don't know why you wouldn't want to make it easier for people to vote. If you want to put in some kind of laws to make sure people don't cheat or voter fraud, I get that. But none of this stuff does that. This stuff, earliest voters can request a mail ballot with 11 weeks before an election instead of 180 days. It's less than half. You want people to vote. Obviously, you don't want people voting for the other team. I get that. Just like in sports, you don't want the other team to score. You want the other team to win. I understand that. But with the country being based on voting, and honestly the world should be, I mean, I guess you want to put your safeguards in place so it's as fair as possible. But to stop people or try to restrict people, I think Kemp puts himself in danger. And I guess for some Democrats, I'm not a Democrat or Republican, but for some Democrats, I'm sure, they're like, oh, they're just gonna go and vote them out now. And they probably will. I mean, this it's kind of like your parents telling you what not to do when you get older and you go and do it. Like, don't make it harder for me. You don't tell me what to do, or, purposely trying to do stuff that, undermines what some may feel like is their vote. I'm not going to speak on exactly who they point to, because just like with literacy tests and other voting things, the race isn't a part of it. But when the numbers come out and you see who's standing in line and different things of that nature, you know, there's specific communities that's targeted because that's the goal. If this affected, you know, Kemp's voters, you know, if this made it harder for them, he wouldn't do it. And that's just, you know, this is the space we're in today's politics. So it was unfortunate to see because there'll be other, you know, there'll be copycats. There'll be more people that want to do the same thing if they get elected, or currently they might be working up some stuff in their states. And, you know, like I said, then you start chipping away at other things slowly but surely. And then, you know, you have a state that is almost impossible to flip or make people feel like their vote doesn't matter or count. And that's the last thing you want, because that starts to tear the structure down. So it was good. It was highlighted. You know, he was put on blast. That's one thing about our society today, that the news and journalism and social media, it gets out there, it gets under people's attention. And, you know, the voters in Georgia, they'll be paying attention. You know, he barely won when he got in, and he's gonna have a really hard time, you know, staying the governor of Georgia. I'm sure, you know, obviously I said that people that love what he did, but there's a lot of people that don't. And, you know, after those runoff elections that just happened, where those seats were flipped up, and the state as well, he should be concerned, but I just feel like he should have took a different approach. But that's the South, and that's what they do. So that's OT. You know, overtime is usually quick. You want to make overtime quick. And double OT here on Play Some D. We play some D, so we get some stops. We shut people down. So double OT is probably never, ever gonna happen. And if it do, it's gonna be on like some video game rules where like first team to one wins. So first thing out of my mouth is double OT, then it's over. No, just playing. But yeah, no. It was a busy week of stuff, and there was a couple other things that I could have talked about. NCAA tournament was incredible. I think that's always fair to talk about. We got NFL news. Deshaun Watson stuff is crazy, and the Niners just made a trade. That's correct. I talked about that pick. Could have went sports route, but I thought this stuff was good. But once again, you know, Play Some D. Just that random, you know, off the top, once a week. Get it how you living. But thanks for watching. This is episode 8. Please like and please subscribe. Stay safe. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Social distance. Get the vaccine if that's what you own. If that's what you like. If that's what you want to do. Overall, be safe. Let's get this joint back rolling. Y'all visit the movie theaters. Go to the movies. Check out a movie. Take the kids. Or just go by yourself. Sit in a corner and wear a face shield and a mask. Some gloves. Enjoy a movie. But no. Yeah, Play Some D. This is me, Coach D. Until next time, I holla.